Welcome to our exciting journey and introduction into our paper pieced block of the month. In this video, I will show you how to work with your electronically downloaded 40 bright and bold blocks. I will also show you how you can take advantage of some of the features of this electronic download. And we'll also discuss how to assign numbers to the fabric that you've purchased for this project, so that you know which fabric to use in which sections of your foundation blocks. So when you downloaded your designs, you should have gotten a shortcut icon on your desktop that looks like a giant F, and it says Foundation Factory underneath it. What you need to do is double click on that. That's your shortcut to the Foundation Factory designs. Now, if you have several designs loaded already in Foundation Factory because you've used this before, you want to make sure that you're selecting the 40 bright and bold blocks. If you have never used it before, then it will come right up to the one that you just downloaded. Now we're going to be using 4 different blocks from this collection. The rest of the blocks will come in real handy when you decide how much you like paper piecing and decide that you want to do other projects. But for now, the blocks that we're going to be using are the Barbara block, the Beth block, the Chris block, and Mary's block, none of which look anything like the designs I showed you, do they? But they will, so bear with me. So for now, to get started, let's open up the Barbara block together. So we're going to go to the Barbara block, put your cursor over the block, and just double click. That will open up a whole other screen for you. That's going to look like this. Now let's go through this screen together. Right here, it's listing what printer you're going to use. If you have more than one printer and you want to choose, you can click on this and it will allow you to choose which printer you'd like to use. The properties is an important aspect of this screen because it will allow you to choose several things. Now your screen may look a little different than mine. Mine is proprietary to the Canon printer that I have, but it should allow you to change the size paper, where your paper is, that's your paper source, and if you want to print it in standard quality, or maybe you want to go to fast. But I would keep it at standard to start with. But some people who have not been able to get this stabilizer that I had recommended as quickly as you'd hoped, or maybe you got an 8x8 size, this would be the opportunity where you could go in here and change your size. And there is an option for down at the bottom for custom. Right there. So you can click on that. And now you're given the opportunity to put what size paper you're going to use. And it would simply be a matter of typing in the dimension and then clicking on OK. Now since I have 8.5 by 11 paper, and that's what I think most of you have, I'm just going to cancel out of this. You have some other options. These are your page margins, and you really shouldn't have to change those at all. Right in here. I'd leave those just where they're at. You can change things over here by flipping, and this is something that we won't need in our particular project, but as you can see, if you say flip it, it does indeed flip it. See? Vertically. Mirror for an iron-on. print with grays, you don't really want to use that because, well, first of all, it takes away the transparency of your stabilizer and it uses a lot more ink. So basically you can leave these all the same. You can play with it on your own time. I just wanted to let you know what it was all about. The most important thing on this page is this. Her designs are all designed to make up into a 12-inch square. Now our stars are going to be 7-inch squares. And let me show you how they're going to be put together. Hey, wait a minute. That doesn't look anything like I thought it would. Did I get the wrong designs? Yes, indeed, it does look different. But when you put 4 of these segments together, it equals one beautiful star. So now you know that each star will take 4 foundation pieces. So let's move back to the software. Okay, with that in mind, now we need to make sure that we do end up with a 7-inch versus a 12-inch square. Since we know now that it's going to take 4 of these to make one block, we have to divide the 7 in half. So we'll have a height of 7. And by doing that, we're going to make it 3.5. If you keep this on key proportion, it'll automatically change the width as well. So now you'll have 4 blocks, each 3.5 inches. Put them together and you'll end up with a finished size of 7. And as they say, a picture is better than 1,000 words. We are going to use this particular block, Barbara, 4 different places on our quilt. So if it takes 4 blocks to make one star, and we need 4 of these stars, we're going to multiply the 4 by 4 and end up with, we need 16 blocks. So we're going to go into copies and say we need 16. Now it's telling us 2 patterns fit on 1 page if we're using the 8.5 by 11. So we need 8 pages to print all the patterns. And we're basically ready to send them to the printer now. You can click print. And there's my first one. First of 16. And they're just spilling out all over the place. And as you can see, I'm not having any problems at all with paper jam. They're printing out very well. And I just have a stack of it in my tray. So that quickly, I have 8 pieces printed out for a total of 16. If you can remember when we were back at this page before and we clicked on Barbara, we got a secondary screen that popped up. I pointed out at the time about the different ways you can flip the design. We're going to take advantage of that so that we can flip this to get the right orientation for our templates for cutting out our fabric. And it's easy to do that just by selecting the mirror image. And that's your 3rd option down. Right there. Now you'll be sure that all your pieces are the correct orientation. We only need 1 copy, but since 2 print on a page, we may as well take advantage in case we make a mistake while cutting. You also want to make sure that you have your size set to 3.5 inches. And then we're going to just print this out on regular paper. So select wherever that is loaded on your printer, and then we just print. So now I have a mirror image of my original foundation pieces. I can take that mirror image and cut along all the different piece lines to make my templates. Now, just like your fabric, you have a right and wrong side. We're going to put the wrong side of our template, just like we would our fabric, underneath that particular section, and you can see that it fits perfectly. Now, if we hadn't done it in mirror image, what we would have ended up with is something like this, and we would not like that very well at all. Now, if you remember in our intro to paper piecing, you were given a list of what fabrics you would need in order to complete this project. Now the big question is, what goes where? Well, I'm sure you've heard of paint by numbers. I use the same premise when I'm assigning my fabrics. I take all the different colors that I got, and in this case I have 7, and I number each one of them. I then take each block, and I have those in your handout, and color in the way the blocks will be done. I refer to that as I'm selecting and cutting my fabrics. So it's almost like sewing by number. Okay, our official first block of the month video will be released on January 15th. Don't miss it. By that time, you should have downloaded your electronic designs, purchased your fabric, reviewed how to make your paper templates for cutting your fabric, chosen what color goes where, printed out your templates, and be raring to go. I can't wait to see what you all come up with for fabric choices, and I know we're going to have a lot of fun. See you on the 15th.